Okay, so I'm going into a really deep conversation tonight, but I think this is something that might help you kind of, tap into that potential that is inside of you. So with my brand, I have this little focus group that I have on WhatsApp, and whenever I have an idea, I send it to the group to see what they think about it. And this group is comprised of really, really good Judies that, I really trust their judgment. And I was asking them to evaluate two new slogans that I had for my brand because I'm sort of rebranding at least all the literature. And in terms of my rebrand, that's a whole other conversation. But the main idea is that I'm starting to focus more on the theatricality of my brand and the inspiration that theater brings. And that's what I'm bringing into my fragrances. And one of the slogans that was on the chopping block, I'll put it up here, but it was every scent a scene, everywhere a star. I kind of like that one. In the end, that's not the one that I chose, but I got like a few comments. One saying that like that seems kind of conceited, and my answer to that was, well, it worked for Lady Gaga, right? Because that's kind of her, her shtick, where she says like everyone's a star, and she even considered herself a star because before she came one. So all of it is like a state of mind, and it's a message of empowerment, which I strongly believe in, and I have always believed in it. And their answer to that was, well, she's famous, so like she could say that, and obviously they're evaluating it from the standpoint of being someone who's looking at a big star. But Lady Gaga wasn't always a big star, and that ideology, or that not ideology, but that concept was always in her since the beginning. And so one of them said, well, like I think she always knew that she was going to be a star. And to that I answered, well, so did I. And there was kind of a laugh, and I don't think they realized. And when I say a star, like I mean it like in the terms of like the success I was gonna have. Like I've always believed in myself wholeheartedly, and I don't think they realized how driven I have always been, and how much of mentally I considered myself a rock star. So I showed them this. So this is my business card that I have kept since 1996. Like at the time I think I was 19. And I had written a musical. Like I've always been part of theater, which is why it's spilling into my brand today. But anyways, I digress. So I was trying to promote like a musical that I wrote, and like I'm just gonna hide this, but on the card it says, Mika, professional rock star. And I passed this to everyone that I knew and everyone that I met. And I gotta tell you, it got me pretty far. Like it kickstarted my musical career in Montreal once upon a time. It got me on the front of magazines. It got me booked for really big shows. Because I was, mixing theater with electronic music and opera. And anyways, it was a lot of fun. But all of that only happened because I decided and believed that that's what I was, and I still believe it to this day, which is why I keep this around, just a reminder, because, like, I don't always feel like a rock star, but I need to remind myself every day that I am. And I take that rock star energy and I infuse that in my current perfume project, and I like put that energy into all of my bottles. And my friends probably thought it was kind of silly or conceited or whatever. I'm going to leave them the benefit of the doubt. That's really their thing. But the moral of the story is, until you're able to start believing in your delusions of grandeur, or even articulating them publicly because you're ashamed of it, and because you're too shy, or you're playing this fake game of being humble, you'll never be able to get to where you want to go. Reason being is that you yourself don't believe in it. So how are you going to convince other people of it? It starts with you. So in terms of other people's opinions on your delusions of grandeur, that is actually none of your business, so long as you believe in them. That's the most important. And ironically, in terms of my rebrand, that is the whole energy and thematic that has been driving my rebrand. And if any of this resonated with you, make sure to follow, because there's going to be a lot more videos like this.